Robert Harting, welcome to Throws Talk, and thank you for giving up some time to be with us.
Hi.
So this is the middle of Olympic year, the middle of 2016, but you've had a tough couple of years, the last couple of years. How's that been? What's the, you've had a lot of injuries. How are they now?
It's difficult to say because the big injury I had on the 9th of September in 2014 was not produced in training or something like. It was a kind of suddenly breakdown, and in the case I woke up with a torn ACL and a torn internal ligament. It's a big injury for every sport, only for discus. And my rehab was really difficult because they took my semitendinosus tendon for it, because in former injuries I had former injuries in my patella tendon, and that's why they couldn't take this part of the body to replace the ACL. That was a bad sign, because semitendinosus for every discus thrower is very important to make the final pull with the left leg, and that's why my left leg is really slow right now. So what I want to say is, in my brain I'm still Robert Harting, but my body is searching that guy, and it's a hard and long road to combine both persons, and hopefully at Rio I'm able to do it again.
When did the surgery actually take place? Because it was a freak injury, but it
took place in October 2014.
So it's...
The injury was in September 2014.
Right.
Yeah, but this big injury is gone now, so everything is fine now. But something happened that I tore my how you call it, quadriceps tendon in my right leg. So my strength is to
finish the throw.
Finish the throw. But before you finish the throw, you load. You load it away in the legs, and therefore you need it to be soft on your right. I can't do this. It's not possible. And now I'm walking and working. I'm working with a very reduced level of technique, and that's why my 66 today or in the next competition is top. What I can do. So, but for Olympics, there's another big part of training, and maybe I try cortisone to get out of the pain, and maybe I can adjust a little bit more.
Because you were throwing today, and it looked you were struggling a little bit to hit positions, but your dynamism is coming back. Your energy is starting to come back into your throws.
It's really also the person is coming back. When I was at East of Indoors, and it was 14th of February, where I won, was my first comeback. I felt a lot of I was really scared. So because the person I was is gone, and the person I am right now is not the same. So it's like you drive in another car, but you have to race with this car, and you don't know this car. And that was a really tough situation for me. And I won, and after days, it came back. My identity came back, kind of, and so it's helped me a lot to go through all this training process, and all the private process too. Because at home,
it's tough on everyone.
I'm changing too. It's not just an injury. It's completely, they took out of a cylinder of an engine. And you have to work with that. So it's the nature of an injury like that. It's a difficult injury, and they can rebuild it, but the coordination takes so much longer to come back, and particularly at a high level under pressure. It is. It is, because there's two persons are challenging. The one in the head and the one who is producing the result with the body, so both produce, but it's completely different, and you have to merge them. And the interesting thing, while you have an ACL injury, is the lower leg lost all the feelings and coordination, and you have to tell your muscles in a new way what they have to do, also another way, and you have to change the learning and the knowledge of this muscle. It's kind of abstract.
Because that
But it is like this.
You must have had to make some adjustments to your technique, to your, you've had a strong technique for many years, and now you have to relearn and change a few things to avoid putting pressure.
It doesn't make fun.
Yeah, and also during that process, when you had such a surgery, one of the hardest things is dealing with the downtime, with the time off. Yeah, how were you able to cope with that? Because different people, can be tough.
I know what you mean. I was struggling a lot.
Yeah.
I tried to replace all these nice feelings I had from sport with other things. I did a lot of business. I founded the sports lottery in Germany, like from the UK sports lottery. Was a big idol for us. I founded another thing, my own agency. I founded a lot of stuff and did some business work. So I tried to replace good feelings.
Sure.
And in sports, it was a really long process. It was boring. You go to the rehab room. You don't go to the training facility. You go to the rehab room with all the sick people, with all these clothes I worn.
Yeah.
I can't wear it anymore because if I put over my green long sleeve, I just feel sick. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But for me also, it was the first moment in my life where I got how do you call this? I was not successful.
Yeah.
I call it miss success. Do you call this?
Yeah, it's unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is because my life and my performance went up all the years, and I want more. I wanted more. The body gave me more, and this was the first moment when I was really down.
But that's also such a challenge for someone that's been performing at such a high level for so long, that you've got to go back to doing all these silly little exercises. You're learning how to walk again. You're learning how to bend your knee, and so you can't, all that memory of, I'm going to get in the weight room and lift this and squat this, that's so far off.
It is, but you are able to produce it in your head to give the impulse for this for the movement, but it won't answer.
Yeah, okay.
And this is the game. You are challenging. But it's getting better and better. But it's a kind for a dynamic person like me. It's quite boring.
Yeah. It's very hard.
It's really hard. Yeah. But it's in classical ACL rehab.
Yeah.
But in case for a discus thrower who is using his leg left two times.
To drive out the back and then also to brace at the front.
It's quite different from one time because you can, after 5 months, you can run really good. But what we are doing is biological, not necessary. If no human was predicted to turn. Because the movement of the human are front or backwards, sidewards maybe. But not turning, rotating. It's not an evolution. And that's why this is an additional task for the body. And all these additional abilities, additional tasks, they are cut. The body doesn't want it anymore, and you're just focusing on kind of survival. And it's even harder for a discus thrower to come back, I think. And
So where do you think you are now, physically and mentally? So, because physically maybe you're getting close, but mental maybe takes a little longer.
Yeah, physically I'm on 80%. Mentally also on 80%. But the problem is the next injury part. I was in really good shape in March this year. I felt that I'm again this guy I was before I injured. But then there are two big injuries, two really important injuries. For my right leg, I told you, my right quadriceps tendon. And then the best weapon I have, my pectoralis, so also a muscle tear.
Okay.
The biological system changed. The tendon, the muscle, the structure of all this belongings inside of my body, and there was a big challenge to come back to the person you was. But the body changed in that way, so there was never the chance to come back to the person you once been. And to to know that, to extract this. This is another task to do, another way you have to throw now.
Yeah.
It also took a time for itself. Yeah, and it's sometimes I think there's too less time.
Yeah, because that's also difficult for you. You know, some other countries it's not going to be a problem in terms of qualifying for the Olympics, but Germany has such a great tradition of discus throwers, and many people are throwing qualified well. You need a little more time, and the selection period is looming up. It's you know, hopefully they're going to give you a little grace period because of the champion you've been, but it's you still need to prove yourself against those guys.
I have to, and I tell you what, I also want it because I don't want to get some bonus.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
You want to earn your place.
I want to earn my place, and I am really lucky to challenge. You know, that's if you once you're injured in that way and getting injured and injured, you come back with a just based wish, challenge in a sport way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a really based thought of doing sports, challenging the sport,
the core,
right. And that's what I all want to do now, and that's what I'm lucky in.
But a lot of people are saying that you're very brave to come back into the Diamond League and put yourself in the middle. When
also the change, the rule change. It's not good for me because I need to try such much things. Today I tried two kind of shoes. I tried two kind of beginning movements for my starts, for my technique, and there's no time to try because you have to perform. Otherwise you fall out of the top four. And
well, we hope there's some time for the officials to think about that rule and perhaps make changes for later in the season, because none of the athletes are enjoying it, and I don't think the crowd are enjoying it either. You know,
that's right. But I'm a guy who's facing and knows that the athletics need to be changed a bit, and that's why I'm also I also give the possibility to change myself.
Yes.
So, you know, if you want changes, you always, on the other side, you have to be able to change for yourself. Maybe they can adjust it a little bit. Maybe they can do this after the fourth round, maybe. It's a rare thought from the IAAF, and hopefully they change it a bit.
But you have been very strong in trying to get changes. You talk about the ISTAF meeting, the indoor discus competition, which is wonderful. Such a crowd, and just throwing discus is the main event. And you have pole vault and 60 meters and long jump and a few other things, but it's a focus really on that discus at the end.
Did you ever been there?
I've never been there, but I know
I invite you next year.
Okay, but it's a special event.
It is.
That atmosphere, and I think that's what we need to do to promote our sport as a thrower. We need to put more of these things on where the throws take the spectacle. And
it is. My thoughts are that the audience comes to the stadium and wants to get lead. They are not coming and lead themselves. They want to get lead, and that's why it's really important on the voice who is leading.
Yes.
Because this voice who is leading is changing the transformation of the feeling inside of the stadium. And if this voice is only focused on running, it's not the fault of the audience. It's just the fault of the voice who is leading the system, or the organizers. And the special at the East of Indoors is the discus is not in a certain angle to the audience, because it's right in the middle. And everyone is looking down. It's like an old Rome, like the gladiators. Colosseum, right. And suddenly everyone knows discus. Suddenly someone knows about technique. Suddenly everyone knows about it's dangerous here, it's dangerous there. This is far, this is not far, and all the things like this. The audience is able to think about it. But they also need a chance to get the moment of it.
Because I always think that one of our problems as throwers is the audience doesn't have perspective to the throws. They don't know how heavy a 2 kilo discus is, but when they're up close like that, when they're so close to watch the discus fly through the air, which If they're sitting at home on television, they don't see, and even in a stadium, it's still far away. But when they're there on top of it, and when you're next to a shot put and somebody's throwing 22 meters and you're 3 meters away from it, it's incredible. And we need to showcase that more. You know?
I was at the European Championships in diving. So, and one of my friends is a diver, and I watched them 3 meters diving, final Europeans single. So, and you know, I don't have any knowledge of diving. I know he's doing this. I know he's making crazy stuff in the air. And but after, I don't know, 10 or 15 jumps, I could see the difference between 7.5 and 8.5. And that's the same what happening to the audience in discus. They feel, okay, the angle was not right. The speed was not right. You know, they found out the several things. And this is only possible if there's the moment where the audience can be the recipients of it. And it's a big chance. And one more important thing is, which is belonging to the throwers, because the audience needs a kind of translation, is it the word?
Translation. Translation.
From the inside. So if there's a thrower who's yelling, coming and going, and it's falling down 60 meters, the audience are clapping. And then comes a thrower throwing 65, doing no word, walking outside, kind of depressed. The audience will... because emotions need to be translated to the audience. And 90% of the throwers doesn't know this.
Doesn't do that.
They don't do it, and it's a really bad thing.
But that's also why it's important, the superstars of our event. So you are such a strong figure in Germany that you can get things done in Germany, and Gerd Kanter could do the same thing in Estonia, and you know, we need those people to lead in these changes. So I remember people are talking about Ricky Bruch in Sweden back in the 70s and 80s. He would just go on a little tour around Sweden and have a little competition with 2 or 3 people in some little village somewhere, and 3,000 people would turn out because it was Ricky Bruch, and they just wanted to see, and it wasn't about paying for tickets. It was just you know, let's have some fun here, and get people close up to see what these events are about.
That's right. People who live far away from the urbanization or urban cities or cities anyway, they are really lucky if something happening in this region. Sure.
And the problem is we don't get, from a throws perspective, we don't get enough coverage on television. So people are losing their understanding of it. So I think we need to bring it out to the people a little more.
Yeah, but that's also a task for the athletes, because it's not only television, sure. But you know, there's one thing. 2009 World Championships in Germany got exported by Frank Busemann, who was decathlete, and suddenly the audience got the feeling for all the events, and that's really important to translate. You know, and all the athletes, they also have to translate. And if the athletes are able to translate, deliver a really hot, a really aggressive, really close competition, then the audience will know this. It will recognize it. And then the organizers, and then the TV will also recognize it. It's a combination of a lot of things. It's not only TV is a fault. There's also some athletes have to do. And I won't say the athletics has problems because the TV doesn't want it. The athletics has also needs also define itself again in the next 2 years. Otherwise, we will get a lot of problems.
Let's go back. London 2012 was obviously a great moment for you, and throwing very well. And then you decided you wanted to make some changes after that in terms of coaching. You've been with Werner Goldman for many years, and then in 2013 you decided it was time for a change. What was behind? What was your thinking about that?
I worked with Werner Goldman really successfully, so we won a lot of medals together. And you know, I'm an athlete. I want to go further, and I know if I feel that the input and the feelings around and coming to training day by day, if there's no trigger anymore, we have to change something. Otherwise, the thing in the middle between those persons, there's a thing in the middle. This is the sport result. is losing on performance. And that's why I try to get some new eyes, some new ideas, some new perspective on my training, on my throws. Also, my body changed. Also at that age. And I'm sure you have to cope with it in a kind of individual way. Yeah. You can't go in general in training. Werner Goldman was a very general coach. Yeah. He has a general plan to everybody. And I felt that I need to get a little more individualized. Okay. So, and all these establishment and throws, like Werner Goldman is, they are not able to move individually. So, and it's not a fault of him, it's just a fault of time. Yeah. And that's why I tried to get some new perspective and change the coach again, and also successful because we couldn't show it. That's the problem. We won together with a new coach. We won the European title in 2014. But in this year, I did a lot of studying. I made my bachelor thesis, and we changed a lot in the technique. Yeah. This is what I wanted.
Takes time.
Yeah, but this is what I wanted. Right. Because if you see an athlete 5, 6, 7 years, you won't see the mistakes. You won't see what you want to see. Because there was one happening. It was Rome, 2013, I think. That was, and it was fourth, 66, 33, and I told my coach, the throws were not that good. And, I know. Now you made this, then you pulled your arm, and then your hip was not right, and And he told me this on the telephone, but he wasn't there, and he didn't see it on TV. And there I recognized, okay, the coach sees my throw in that way. So how is he able to see it in a different way? You have to be diversity. You have to be diversity like a coach and see every mistake, not only the mains. And you have to create ideas. If you see it only in one road.
Coaches and athletes both have to grow.
That's
right. Have to grow together.
It's not only the coach fault. So and there I saw, okay, we have to do some changes. And that's why I also came to the opinion, okay, maybe I need a new perspective to become again Olympic champion, because this method was tired.
So you needed something refreshing. So so Thorsten Schmidt is now your coach, and what's the difference? What's in general terms? What's the difference to you?
Thorsten Schmidt is trained the old system in East Germany, all these methods and stuff like this. So he knows
the theory,
the core of the theory. He himself was an athlete. And challenged herself again and again, but didn't go further than 65 meters. And it's really interesting and really important if you have a guy who wants to go further, but he can't. Tried everything he is able to do. And that's why he got a lot of perspectives of discus throw. Because he tries every angle, every move, every centimeters. He was rethinking about everything. And this is a really good base for a coach, I thought. And it also came true. So, and I lost against him in 2004 at the Olympic qualification. I was 19, he was 29, and he performed third in the German Championship, me fourth, and he gone to Athens. And it was really hard for me that day, but at the end, years later, I worked with him together. Athlete and athlete at Jürgen Schul, under Jürgen Schul's trainings philosophy, and there I learned a lot of technique. I learned a lot of create movements, and I never forget these days.
Okay, good.
So that's why it was a funny thing. When we started training, he told me after Javier, Robert, did you remember 2006? You told me in Portugal in a training camp. One day you will be my coach. And now it is like this. Yes. And suddenly it came to me, really, I said it. And that was a funny thing. Because Thorsten tried a lot of ways to throw far.
Okay.
That's why you get a lot of angles and ways and perspectives. And that's why I said, okay, that's a good guy for coaching, because maybe you got a good idea. And there was one more interesting thing. He divided between men and women discus throw.
Okay.
And the general attitude in the East German coaching system doesn't divide.
Okay.
So, and this is also an opinion I had. And that's why I just feel that. So, once again, I learned a lot from him while I was training with him. And he's a younger coach. He trains the system, he knows about the system, he was an athlete, but he's able to react individual. And the old system is not able to do. And this is really important also for the next generation. Look outside, these young kids who come into athletics. 30 years ago, there was only athletics and soccer and gymnastics or something like this. Now they have kite surfing, base jumping, stuff like this.
How do we attract them into the sport?
They don't need to go to athletics. And if they are in athletics, they need coaches who are working individually, because individually they can perform and progress. Because if everyone is doing the same, you got a lot of people who are out of bounds. Fall under the, how do you call it in English?
The radar, fall under the radar.
Fall out of the radar. And you can't emotionalize them. You cannot. I talk to Jürgen because obviously we look at the Germans and it seems to us it's a production line of discus throwers and javelin throwers now and these sort of things. But Jürgen and I have been talking for the last couple of years. And he's the German head coach. He's very worried that there isn't the talent coming through. There hasn't been, it's like Stall is there, but where's the next Stall coming from? And where are the next people coming through? And some have not made it through. Some that were expected to come through, some talents in the discus perhaps haven't reached what they would have hoped of. So it is important to get those youngsters and maybe look at them in a different way. It is. The different way is really important. And I think René Sack, Thorsten Schmidt, and these are the new coaches, for the future, because they have all these combinations inside. Train the old system, learn the old system, got coached by it, but are able to individualize and react in the actual times. But there's also a lot of youngsters, because there's also a hard election, or selection. Because if you are 15 years and shot, 60 meters the 4K, it's not enough. So it's quite a normal way that only these guys who are better than this performance come up to the higher level and get selected. That's why we have a big, what we call it, athlete's role in this traditional
development.
And we have a good training system that's really good, and that's why it's able to produce good results.
And you have a lot of coaches. There's a number of paid coaches regionally, and that makes a big difference as well.
Which federations stuff. And,
a system, but also
big, bright middle part. That's what Germany. For sure, a very specific way have that we don't have the rich and the poor, we also have the middle. And,
but it's also so great that you have competitions that celebrate the throws, like Halle. It's wonderful for us to come to Halle to see just a throws competition, or where you have Wiesbaden or some of the shot put competitions at the castle, at Bad Kostritz and places like this, where it's the focus.
But those competitions created out of good results.
But it gets support then. It gets support and you get good feeling.
But, all the audience, they won't go home with a good feeling. And therefore you need also good athletes, good results, and big happenings. And if you have a good progress about a lot of people who are successful, like the East and the newer Germany, when they got the unity was, people want to go there where the success is. because they don't want to go home and be you know, they want to go home happy,
excited.
So that's why all the economy is also looking at it. Okay, there's an audience, we go there, but it's breaking a bit more and more right now.
So within your training group, you must have an interesting dynamic, because within your group, you have Julia Fischer, who's doing very, very well at the moment, but also your brother Christoph. So how's that work out?
We also have a new youngster, it's called Julie. It's a young girl, and also improved 5 meters, and she almost quit sport, and it's a really good example or proof of the work of Discus Champion. It's a special dynamic. I like the girls. They make good vibes. Because in the former years it was really hard vibes. And also a lot of mad moods. I mean, as a brother, I don't have that much contact. We train separate. And I go often to training camps, because there's a family and stuff, so it's quite different. We can't produce results together.
I remember I spoke to you last year and I asked you about, how is it when your brother is throwing well? How do you cope with that? And you told me that it's worked out so far quite well, because when he's throwing well, you're not, and when you're throwing well, he's not. So far it's not too bad.
Can be the first break of it.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting.
I'm really excited to do it.
He's leading the German rankings right now.
He is.
And you're coming up.
But I won't come up in 68, I think, because therefore I need some training. I didn't train. That's crazy. Therefore the result today for 66. It's an interesting thing. You're right. You're totally right. And for me, I love my mom. If my mom is happy, I'm also happy.
Okay, good. So, but there's always a sibling rivalry is always difficult, though.
Sibling rivalry, that's right. But I just told you I love my mom, so all the rivalization. Is it the right word? Rivality. What is it, the right word? Being a rival. So. So I don't care anymore.
One of the other things is a lot of the guys on the circuit are saying that you're much more relaxed this year than you have been in previous years. So what do you put that down to? A different perspective now?
I got closer to the edge because of the injury. And I was out. I really was out. And now I'm in again. I can enjoy it by myself in a different way. That's one point. I love the core. Challenging with Piotr and all the other guys, and the fighting against the media and stuff. This makes me really lucky because I was out. And once again, sure, also my girlfriend. Not learns me to communicate, but I could release all my shell, all this stuff, and being the real Robert. Opens up me a lot of doors I closed by myself before, and that's why I also changed my character. I also changed.
But also being together with Julia and her being a discus thrower, that helps you, surely, having another athlete that can understand the perspective when you're going through injury and stuff like that. It's been a great help.
That's a big help. To live at home also with a high performance discus thrower. And because in her past, she got a lot of trouble with technique and stuff like this, and being not the best. I learned a lot from her now, because I was close, almost the best, And that's why I'm in a really good situation to have good people around me. I'm really thankful for this.
You were always a talent. You came through very early on, and everyone was picking you to be the future star in the discus.
I needed to work really hard. Everyone tells always that I'm a big talent, but if you listen to history, there was a lot of coaches who didn't give me a chance. They needed to give me a chance because I had good results. But my technique and my character, my behavior was not able to make it to the high performance.
People often make the mistake, though, of thinking talent is just physical. And it's not. It's a combination. It's the mental, it's the tactical and things like that. So people that are really talented have this combination. I know you've always been very focused on what you're doing and therefore work hard towards it. So when you have good physical talent, maybe not the best, but good physical talent, you can go a long way with the right focus.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just needed to do a lot. I needed to, when I was really young, I was 18, 19, I was focusing on this technique. What's happening while I'm moving?
Yeah.
What's the rules of physics?
Yeah.
Stuff like this. I was asking myself every day how I can improve, how I can change this maybe. So I woke up every day and tried to change something. And this is, it was my kind of grinding.
Yeah. Did you, when you were first starting out, who were your technical models? Who were the people you looked up to at that stage and liked and looked at their technique?
I'm one of the, I don't know, I'm actually only one in the top 10 who is blocking.
Yes.
So there's no big idol.
Yeah.
You don't need to search for a big idol in spite of Lars Riedel.
Right.
He's the only blocker.
Yeah.
So blocking was on the left leg.
Yeah.
So all the other guys were reversing. And, when I was young, I worked for Eurosport and television. Yeah. And I was holding the wires for the cameras and watching Lars Riedel and the shoot while they competed. Yeah. So there I learned a lot of passion about all this sport and the audience, and I could imagine, okay, you can do this too. And at the end, I was only focusing on Lars Riedel because he had the best technique and my kind of throwing. But when I was now 18, 19, 20, I changed this technique from Lars because he was a hard blocker and a big lifter. Yeah. So when he was putting this left leg on the ground, he lifts the item really high. I don't like this. Okay. So that's why I was blocking, but kind of pulling it more. It's hard to describe, man, but I didn't lift it.
Yes. So it's more of a linear drive. Yeah. More like a javelin in terms of slinging the finish.
Yeah, this was more for me. It was really more efficient. Yeah. And and that's what I was focusing on. But as I told you, I had a lot of coaches, and I mixed every strength of every coach a little bit and put in my strengths too. And the product was me. And now I have to reproduce a similar product.
I always thought it was funny talking to people about Lars. He was so successful, obviously, but a lot of the Germans didn't necessarily like his technique. They thought it was more modelled on a girl's technique. He threw he's very flexible, so he could throw with this block and a long sling, a lot like the girls can with a 1 kilo discus, but not many people were able to throw with a 2 kilo discus like that. So it wasn't really followed that closely as a model in the German system.
But I didn't have any chance because when I grew up with discus, he was the best. So
of course, yeah.
And I'm sure all the younger youngsters who was focusing on me while I was the best of the world. Sure. It has an influence. You can't avoid it.
What about the athletes that are out there competing with you now? Are there any that you admire, and in terms of certain technique and as athletes in your event and also other events?
I'm really focused on discus throw. It's enough to do. I admire actually. I like the youngsters. Filip Milanov, Lonnie Stahl, and also Viktor Butenko, who is not competing because of the Russian banning. And I think these guys are the next guys who are fighting for titles. I always was jealous of Piotr because of his really fast feet. Because I'm a really slow feet guy. And if my feet were quicker, I wouldn't have. There would be a lot which becomes more easy to me in the past if I would be quicker. But that's still the same. And that's I'm always working on right in the past, being kind of quicker. And this is what I'm looking for. Every day I have a competition. I'm consuming a little bit of everything. And taking my basket back at home with all the market, with all the technique inside.
And now here we are, we're maybe 80 days out from Rio. And how is that 80 days looking for you? What are you planning? How are you trying to cope with those days?
My plan was, after my big two another injuries, was my plan to get a level by 65, 50, 66. around that and hold this throughout the competitions and being German champion. Because of course it's a big amount of service. I have the A-levels done that. You have to be German champion.
Yeah.
And then your qualification is
automatic.
So it's automatically. That's my plan. And then it's my plan to get to fix all these rest of the pain, to get my old ticket back. Just I had in March, and then I'm able to fight Coco. But if this is not happening, if I still have pain, I can't go through it. It's over. When I was younger, my brain was strong as hell to go over every pain. That's not possible anymore.
So, do you think if everything goes well now in the lead up to Rio, that Rio would be your last championships?
No.
You want to go beyond?
I quit 2018.
Okay.
Because we have the European Championship back home in Berlin.
Okay.
And there I won my first gold, and maybe I can close with gold.
So
it would be a good story.
You're committed to that. That's great. Okay. Robert, it's been wonderful talking to you. I really appreciate it. So thank you very much, and good luck with the next part of your training.
Thank you.